Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we have a list video, and it's one that is kind of making me laugh. So there's a thing that's been going around on the knife YouTube, top 5 or 10 most used knives. I'm going to do a top 5. The reason this is kind of interesting to me is because about a month and a half ago I actually recorded 2 videos about my most used knives that are scheduled to come out tomorrow by the time you see this. And so that was not planned. That was just coincidence, but I figured, you know what? I'd make a shorter version of those 2 videos because those 2 videos are very long. I'd make a shorter, more concise version of that video and release it. And I'm doing this because Stasa23 kind of open tagged anyone to do this. I'm actually going to tag my good buddy Sharpened Blade to do this. I want to see what your 5 most used knives are. So I'm only going to tag one person. So yeah, let's get into this. My top 5 most used knives. I have a few honorable mentions. And before we get into anything, I want to say I use all my knives. A lot. And you know, it was kind of hard for me to narrow it down to just a top 5, so that's why we are going to have honorable mentions. But for this list, I decided to go with kind of the top 5 knives that I've been using most recently since I started this channel. So we're not going lifetime here, we're going since I started this channel, which was about 8-9 months ago. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's jump into the honorable mentions. Okay, so honorable mention number 1 are all these knives here, and these are some of my size comparison knives that I use in all my reviews. So, yeah, that's use, but it's not use as is kind of intended with the purpose of this video, but I did want to mention them, especially since I saw Big Red EDC did something very similar in video of his, and I thought, you know what, that's actually a really good point. So my size comparison knives are definitely honorable mentions for knives that I use the most. Next honorable mention, cold steel. I love cold steel knives. I use them all the time. I use them, abuse them, and this whole list could be cold steel knives. There are going to be 2 knives on this list, in the actual main part of this list, that are cold steels, but I just want to give a blanket award to cold steel for being such amazing hard use knives that I use a lot. And if anyone is new here, I am a pretty hard use type of guy. So yeah, you can go check out a bunch of videos I've done about that. But yeah, cold steel. Next honorable mentions are the Steel Wheel Modus and the Best Tech Paladin. I use these knives a lot, but I do feel like there are certain things that I use just a little bit more. These are both excellent knives, especially the Modus. I've said before that this is the most, in my opinion, this is one of the most recommendable knives in the world, and the Paladin is just a good workhorse. So, yeah. Honorable mentions. And the last honorable mention is this knife here. Oh, this guy needs some work done. This is my Victorinox Soldier. I think this is the model on this one. I forget. This knife goes basically everywhere with me. Carry it and use it a lot, but it's never a standalone for me, which is why this knife is not making the official list, even though it probably could, because I use it a lot, but yeah. Not on the official list, but still, great knife. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's get into my most used knives since I've had this channel. And this is important because since I've had this channel, I've been carrying a lot of knives for review, and some of my favorites just don't get carried as much. But there are some that have stood out as being used more than normal. And so let's start off with a classic. These are not in any particular order. The Spyderco PM2. I love the PM2. It is a great knife, and as you can see, I have used and abused this one quite a bit. Well, maybe not abused. This is my Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and S110V, as you can tell. The Blurple version. I love blue. And this is just a great knife. Love the PM2. This is also one of my size comparison knives, so it gets used a lot there, but whenever I just have to break down cardboard, this is a great knife. If I'm just around the house, I always have the PM2 nearby somewhere. Recently, I did get, a PM2 Tanto that I'm going to use at work. It's going to be my more hard use one since, S110V is not really a hard use steel. But this knife is still, I don't see that it's going to be seeing any less use anytime soon. This is just a great knife to have around. Love the PM2. And S110V is a crazy steel. I've had this knife for like 2 years. And yeah. Still, I have never sharpened it, never touched that edge. It's probably getting to where I need to. Let me grab some paper. Yeah, it's definitely getting to where it needs a new edge. Excuse the wind outside, there's a storm blowing in. Yeah, there's some bad spots on here. Ugh. I think it's time to... I'm not going to sharpen this guy. I'm even going to send him off for sharpening, but great knife. Love that knife. Next up, this is my Cold Steel SRK. I love this knife, and it has served me so well. For those who don't know, I'm a college student, so during the school semesters, I live in a city and just kind of, do normal knife stuff. But in the summer times, I actually work out in the woods, and this knife goes with me to work every day. I don't care what else I have in my pocket. I always have my Cold Steel SRK with me. Great knife. Just can take a beating. Definitely check out my review on this. It has definitely seen some battle scars. It has a little bit of rust there on the edge. That'll come out next time I sharpen it. Don't think it needs sharpened right now, but actually, you know what? Maybe it does. This guy does see a lot of use, so yeah, probably gonna sharpen him up just because. But yeah, great knife, absolutely wonderful fixed blade knife. Probably my favorite fixed blade ever, and it's dirt cheap. I mean, you can get those things for like 45 bucks, and they will stand up to anything. So love that knife. Next up, the Tucson TS301. So I haven't had this knife very long, but man, I've been carrying it a lot and using it a lot, and I love this knife. It's got this nice clip point. You guys know I love clip points. Super thin behind the edge, 14C28 in. It's a good looking knife. This is the knife that cut me real bad. I'll throw up some pictures of that maybe. But yeah, just a beautiful knife. Really love it. My favorite Tucson by far. Carry him a lot. This is a knife where I can throw him in my pocket no matter what. If I'm just going about my day, I don't know what I'm going to be doing that day, I feel good with this guy in my pocket. Light duty stuff, heavy duty stuff, he can handle it. Beautiful knife. Have not reviewed him yet, but review is coming. Great action, perfect centering. Yeah, really nice knife. Big fan. Next up, the damn Designs Cerberus. Review of this guy is filmed. It'll be coming out later. Love this knife. This is probably one of my favorite budget knives. In fact, it is one of my favorite budget knives ever. Really solid workhorse of a knife. Right now, he's all cleaned up. You can't really tell, but he is. I have definitely put my marks on this blade. You can look back in some of the videos I've done in the past that this guy shows up in, and you can just see how dirty and just beat to crap he is. I do use this knife very hard. and it's just a great knife. Absolutely fantastic. Love the ergos, especially going to work. Just really nice knife. And gloves, bare hand, good shape of the blade, nice and beefy, good slicer, still has a thick enough blade stock to be durable. It's a great knife. It's a home run in my opinion. Probably right now I'm thinking it's the best budget knife of 2021, in my opinion. But beautiful, beautiful knife. And yes, also have not had this guy for very long, but man, I think I've had him for 3 months, and yeah, great knife. Still carry this guy, still loving him. Fantastic knife. And okay, the last knife, longtime viewers already know what it is. It's a knife that I can't keep out of my pocket. It's a Cold Steel 8015. Love this knife. I have the 8015 Light. I have another 8015. This one I dyed the scales. They were the green one. Now they're the blue. I'm not sure if you guys know how I dyed them. I dyed them blue. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure if you guys can tell on this light, but they are blue now. I love this knife. I've said before, this is my favorite knife ever. I take him to work. I carry him just whenever I feel like it. So fun with the scorpion lock. Great action. Yes, you can even reverse flick these knives. Fantastic knife. S35 yen is one of my favorite steels. It is such a good working steel. I mean, if you're just going to use your knife, S35 yen is a great steel for that. And so many things about this knife are just so nice. I love the pocket clip. You do have to sand down the G10, but the ergos are good, in gloves or without gloves. It's a good-looking blade. It's a hard-working knife. I have done completely stupid things with these, but man, it's just such a good knife. And I doubt this knife will ever be topped by anything else in terms of usability and function in my EDC. So, love that knife. Alright, so there's my top 5. Again, sharpened blade. Looking at you. I need you to make a reply to this video. I'm curious to see what you've got. The other videos that I made will be coming out tomorrow. You can check those out if you want. They're very long, but they're more in depth and they cover my entire life, not just my YouTube career. But yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.